Aloha, so we're back to another video here and we're gonna start learning on how to do the R bar chart. And as you can see on your screen, I'm using the same data sets from the Raffia manufacturing company. And then instead of X bar here, we're gonna take that out and just replace it with R, which is the range. And then how we do it, we do the calculations here in Excel to make it simple. So we're just gonna do what is the max between this range, and then you minus it with the minimum within that range. There you go, and then enter. So that's the difference between the maximum and the minimum. So that's the range. And then we should be able to import this to Tableau and do a statistical process control after I save it. Okay. This is my statistical process control, R chart. Okay, now that I imported this Excel file to do some R bar chart, so on my data source should be able to show me. Earlier we did the X double bar. Now we're doing the R chart this time, which stands for range. Okay, so here what we're gonna do now, go to the workbook, and then we're just gonna put this sum of R there, day, and she give me this one. So we are looking at the range, the difference between the maximum and the minimum. Okay, now that we have that, we're just gonna do some analytics here. Drag the average line under the table and the summary of the range. Not the sum of the range. And we should edit this and change the label to R bar chart. And then we put the value, what is the average there? What is the value for that one? And there you go. It gives me an idea that the average for the R bar chart is actually 2.134. And then I'm just gonna put we need to compute for, okay, we'll put the parameter first, just like what we did with the other ones, the number of standard deviation. And it should be an integer, and then range, minimum 1, maximum of 3. Step size will be 1, then okay. Then we should show this on the right-hand side. And then after that, we can do our upper control limit. So we click this, create calculated field, and we're gonna name this the upper control limit. And it's the same with everything that we have done so far. This is the last video on statistical process control. So we're just gonna say window average, which is our double, our R bar, plus, because it's the upper control limit, the window standard deviation of the sum of the range, and multiply it to the parameter that we have, the number of standard deviation. Calculation is valid, and then okay. And then we're just gonna duplicate this and edit. Edit. So this is our lower control limit, and change this plus to a minus. Okay. Again, select both, and then drag it and drop it to detail. Now that we have that, we are ready to do our analytics on reference band, and it should be under this table and sum of the range. And then again, we need to change this for the minimum for lower control limit and change the label to lower control limit, and we need to include the value. There you go. Same thing with here. With the maximum, it will be the upper control limit and custom it with upper control limit equals value. There you go. And then I want to format this. The line will be just to differentiate that this is the control limit, upper and lower. And it's not the bar, the R bar. And then we'll change this field to less than 100. You can customize it, whatever, what color you want it to be. As long as on your case study, when you turn in the Tableau file, I'll be able to see that the out of control is actually formatted correctly. So it's easier to know that on a day 5, there's like non-conformance in terms of the range. There's a minimum, the range, the length of the raffia, right? So we need to, before we do that, again, we create a calculated field, but this is the out of control. And it's an if statement. We're using the if statement function. If some of the range is actually greater than the upper control limit, or what did you call this? The sum of range is actually less than the lower control limit, then it is just the sum of the range. Oops. It was just gonna be the sum of the range. Or if not, you need to end it. Calculation is valid, okay. And then we put this to the rows. There you go. So it didn't automatically convert it to a circle. So we need to go here and change it to circle. There you go. And then make sure your sum of R will be line as well. There you go. After that, right click this one, do all axis, and then you synchronize it. There you go. There you get all synchronized. So that means if I'm using the number 1 standard deviation, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of control in terms of doing the R bar chart, the R chart. And let me see if there's a 2 standard deviation, everything is actually conformance in terms of the length of the raffia. But with 1, I'll probably go take a look at day 5, day 6, 7, and 8, and 9. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 consecutive days that there was a problem. And if I'm using the range chart or the R chart. Again, so this ends the video for doing R chart, but when you turn in your Tableau, there we go. That is the statistical process control, and this is a R chart. Put it a title, and then I should be able to see a format like this that will tell me by looking at your Tableau file that you submitted with your case study on the weekend, so that it's showing me all of this, like the dots, and explain what can you do in order to improve what could be the possible causes here, why there is a out of control using the R chart and all those stuff. So when you turn in your case study on Saturday, or even earlier than that, I should be able to see similar. You are required to to do all of the statistical process control and you want to explain which one is the best one that you can use, what type on that particular data sets that's on Canvas. Okay, okay, again, this ends the video on our chart doing the statistical process control.